And we're recording. Hare Krishna, everyone. My obeisances to all. Vansha kalpa tarubhyashkra, kripa sindhu be'evacha, patitanang pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo, namo namaha. In our prayers to Srila Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamane, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pricharni Nirvishesha Shunyavari Paskacha, Teshe Tarne. And we pray to Prabhupada for his blessings, his presence, and his empowerment. Jai.
Jai.
Gotta plug into
On glories to Gurudev, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimate Narahari Dasiti Namine, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Charine Nivishesha, Shunyavadi, Paschatyati Shritari.
Jai. So, it's great to be with everyone as always. I don't see a lot of questions. We got a question from Rasika Pujari and a question from Francia. Well, where's everybody else's questions? They must know everything.
Gurudev, forgiveness. I have a question written down, but I didn't have a moment to type it. My apologies. If it happens to work, I can slip a question in.
Good. We'll give it a try. Anybody have anything that you wanted to share from the last time we met? Any thoughts? Yes, Malati.
I'm just thinking, Gurudev, that, Srila Prabhupada writes always in all the scriptures, birth, death, old age, disease,
What?
Birth, death, old age, disease.
Yes.
He mentions this in every scripture and the purports of his in the scriptures. So I'm seeing how death is seemed to be a lot more around me these days. I'm hearing of all my relatives, many of them, and now another cousin's husband has prostate cancer and he's gone to the liver and the medication's not helping him at all. So now he's really going downhill. So I reached out and asked if he'd like to read Bhagavad Gita with me. And at this moment, he said, not yet. So I said, okay. My cousin said, not yet. He can't even speak. So, okay, so I'm going to try to see how I can, encourage her to put that Srila Prabhupada chanting box for him. Maybe I'm going to try. So many, just in members of my family, I'm seeing a lot of them just lately. So I'm just thinking how you cannot escape death. That is what about everything else, birth, death, old age, and disease is coming. It's here for me. I'm seeing it, yeah. and especially death. So I'm thinking, I'm always thinking, every moment I'm thinking I have to get serious. I better get serious. I'm doing all the things I'm doing, but still, sometimes it's hard. How can you help me, Gurudev?
Well, first of all, Krishna mentions to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Janma Mrityu Jara Viradi Dukkha Dosh. What's the next word? Dukkha Dosh.
Kadoshana.
That's it. I think you said it.
You did?
Anudarshana.
Dukkha Dosh, Anudarshana. Yes.
Yeah, which means Krishna is advising Arjuna to contemplate these things. I mean, birth, everyone in the material world, it's a great joy. Most people, unenlightened people, think, oh, what a wonderful thing, this beautiful little baby has come. First of all, sad that the poor thing's in the material world, and it's going to have a horrible life. It's going to have a life that's going to be full of disappointment, full of anxiety. And no matter how hard they try, They'll never find satisfaction, and ultimately they're going to die. This is how a blind person sees. So Krishna's telling Arjuna, see these things. We have to have it. Now, let's say you go to what is it called? A baby shower? Am I using the right terms?
Yeah.
A baby shower. I mean, you're not going to bring that up at a baby shower. But amongst Vaishnavas coming together, we're seeing from a different angle of vision. Sure, the mother is she's joyful, the family's joyful, little baby, how cute. But in reality, it's a horrible thing. In the Gita, Krishna says, "Jatasihi dhruvo mature." For one who was born, death is certain. And then he says, Dhruvan Jamamritasya. But it is also a fact that for one who is dead, birth is certain. First of all, it's just come out of the womb. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, a child is packed up in the womb, and it's very, very, very uncomfortable. It's not like they're grooving like back in the 60s, we would talk about, going back to the womb. Take shelter back in the womb, mommy's womb. It's like, it's warm. It's, there's warm fluids, and you're close to mommy's heart, and it's hard. According to the Bhagavatam, it's horrible, painful, and horrible. So we have a very different outlook on life. Birth is horrible, death is horrible, everything in between is horrible. Makes us sound like we're really downers. I mean, who's going to want to hang out with us? Right? We're down on the shower. We're here can laugh about how silly the shower is, and we're very. What was the word that Balabhadra used? Not skeptical, very, anyway, doubtful.
Cynical?
Hmm?
Oh, cynical? It sounded like you were going to say cynical. But...
No. Cynical, no. We're more philosophical. Yes, it is a little... for some reason, I'm not comfortable with the word cynical. It is kind of cynical, but it's not. It's not cynical. It's philosophical, and it's a reality, and we want to get something good out of that conversation. If your house is on fire, and you point out to everybody the house is on fire, they're not going to call you a cynic. It's not being cynical. The house is on fire. If a doctor tells you have cancer, he's pointing this out to you. He's not being cynical. He's just telling the truth. So when we see through the eyes of the scriptures, we see everything. Krishna told Arjuna that pashanti jnana chakshusha. To see, pashanti is to see, jnana, through the scriptures, chakshusha, our eyes. We see everything through the eyes. So when I'm talking about the shower, the baby shower, and we're just here talking as devotees, we're not, I'm seeing through the eyes of the scripture what's really going on. What's really going on. So some people have a better life than others, but none of them are good. They're all empty. It's like you never get to eat. We're empty because of a lack of divine love in our hearts. And their whole life is spent like that. Even they find their so-called soulmate. It comes to an end. If you get Mr. You find Mr. Perfect, or Mrs. Angel. But sooner or later, even if it's, somehow goes pretty, relatively smooth, it's still going to end in death. It won't last long. And the older we're getting now, we're looking back and thinking, man, this life went by quick. Isn't that right? It's like, wow. I mean, I can remember back when I was in elementary, when I was in like kindergarten. I can still remember the day my mother took me to kindergarten. I can still literally see it. She took me to the door. I looked in. I saw all the desks and kids sitting down. And I looked at my mom. I said, Mommy, take me home. I honestly got it. I said, Mommy, take me home. I don't want to. And it turned out really just as I thought. I never liked school. It was always, the whole thing was horrible. Very competitive, lots of pressure, lots of anxiety. Isn't it true? Mm-hmm. Unless you're one of these brainiacs and then they have other issues. So we see birth as a horrible thing. Some poor child is going to go through this whole life and never accomplish what they want to accomplish. Or if they do, it won't satisfy them. Many people will reach the goal, but then it's like, where do we go from here? Like we see many people, they want to become like a rock star. And they practice and practice, and they go in the basement with the other musicians, they practice, and they actually become a rock star. Very famous. And then next thing you know, they're taking drugs and they're still not satisfied. So they start adding drugs, et cetera, et cetera. How many popular people in our lifetime died? Famous people like Jimi Hendrix and
Elvis,
and what was her name with a big hair? Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And then others died from bicycle accidents. And anyway, they're never satisfied. In fact, it makes them more miserable because at least you have some hope. Wow, if I get this, and they don't like it. So it's a great. We want to be able to see and be aware. So we're getting older now, so it's being forced on us more and more that we're actually seeing. Just like we've told before the story of Yamaraj. And have I told that story here with this group? Where there was one relatively pious person, I guess he had some communication with Yamaraj, and he just asked him for one benediction. He said, Yamaraj, would you please give me some notice? Give me notice. And Yamaraj said, I will send you notifications. And so the person, he had, regular life, and he was going through his life and, full of disappointments, this, that, and the other. And gradually his hair was turning gray and his teeth were falling out and his vision was he had hearing aids, he could barely hear. And he died. And he was taken to Yamaraj. So he said to Yamaraj, well, this isn't fair. You said you were going to send me notice. Yamaraj said, I sent you all kinds of notices. Your hair turned gray. Your teeth fell out. Your hearing failed. Hello? What were you thinking? This was notice. So we're seeing this, see this in a healthy way. In other words, it's a really good, healthy thing to see. Yeah, my relatives are dying. One of my very dear friends, a godbrother, he just died, it was a week or so ago, Charu. in an automobile accident. He was coming back from a preaching engagement. He had a heart attack, apparently, and went into an accident and got killed. Wonderful, really nice devotee, really very humble. Did so much nice service for Prabhupada. Anyway, it's good that we're seeing all of this because it's making us sober. We're not seeing it like a materialist. We're seeing it from a devotee perspective. But nobody's really going to die. They don't really die. And especially if they've had some contact with devotees, they're going to be in much better shape in their next life. Like if these are relatives of yours, am I right, Melody?
Yes, Guruji. Yes.
Yeah, so they're in good shape. I think everybody you come in contact with, you make sure they get prasadam. You're like a great prasadam distributor. She's a great cook, and she's a real Vaishnava woman. She likes, if she sees you, she wants to feed you. And so these people, they have their ticket to continue their spiritual life in a better situation. But the vast majority of the population that is dying, the Prabhupada said in this age of Kali, everyone is rushing to hell. The modes of, I mean, how many people are even vegetarian? The actions for what they're doing this lifetime is not good. Now, if they've done some devotion to Krishna along the way, then that will have a great benefit for them. But for the most part, it's just the whole world is rushing. So we see these things, and quite frankly, they make me more serious about spiritual life. And I also can appreciate that God is doing what he needs to do to eventually bring these people back home. I was just reading, and I can tell exactly where this is in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, in the 4th chapter. It's called The Wise Man. The 7th paragraph down says, I'll tell you exactly what it says. Let me find, bring it up. Yeah. This is exactly what it says. This is Prabhupada. Actually, every living entity is destined to understand his relationship with the Supreme Lord and ultimately to reach him. I'll read it again and make sure I got this right, what I told you. It's chapter 4, The Wise Man, 7th paragraph. Actually, every living entity is destined to understand his relationship with the Supreme Lord and ultimately to reach him. Okay, so we understand that Krishna is, putting them through what he needs to put them through for their recovery. Just like, let's say if you go to a physical therapy place where physical therapy is going on, and has anybody ever been to a physical therapy? How many people have been to a workplace where there's physical therapy going on? There's the therapist and there's all the machines and stuff. And so a lot of people, it's really painful. I've been in there several times. So I had a shoulder torn rotator cuff, and I had these different things through my life. I had an elbow replacement. I fell and shattered my elbow. So we had to put in an artificial elbow, and then I had to do it, and it's very painful. But the health was coming back. So on the one hand, oh God, these people in here are suffering, but the other thing is that they're getting better. The ultimate end is going to be good. So the ultimate end for everyone in this world is they're going to go back to Krishna. And when they go back to Krishna, it's like it was a moment.
Can I say something?
No, you can't say anything.
I can't say anything.
You're wearing,
I had some thoughts when you
a
were
very loud shirt, very loud sweater, and you cannot say anything. Plus, you're blonde.
Well, I had some thoughts when you were talking.
Okay,
And one
good.
was that I had read that we do have it backwards, like you said, that instead of being joyful when babies are born and sad when people die, we've got it reversed, that we should be, in a way, sad when somebody dies and joyful when somebody dies and sad when somebody's born. And that just took me, I mean, this was when I was young, I heard that.
Hmm.
And it made me, but I knew it was right, but it still is backwards than what the human thing is to do, is to, have it that way.
Well, let me
The,
let me give you my thought on that. That also when somebody dies, unless they're on the spiritual path, unless they're going back to Krishna, or maybe they're going to some heavenly planets.
yeah.
But for the most part, people that die, they're going to be born again in some hellish condition, and
Oh,
probably not even human. So it's bad when they're born and bad when they die.
okay. Okay. Then I did have a realization this week that kind of ties in with everything you've said. That I was reading from the book, the self-realization book.
Right.
There was something that Prabhupada said, is that we're kind of like a fish out of water when we're
Yes.
born into this life. And I thought, whoa, I never thought about that. That it's struggle, it's, just all of this, because and we're put into this body that, is just, but we're a fish out of water, because we're spiritual, and here we are in this mental
Right.
condition.
And
Yeah,
the
that was
thing
good.
about the fish out of water, there's nothing you could do to make him happy other than putting him back in the ocean and letting him swim and be with his friends.
Yeah.
Nothing. You could rent him a nice penthouse and keep him in a little jar in there, or you can feed him the
Great.
best the best. Here, where is it? Oh my God, where did I put it? I must have left it outside. Yeah, I feed these fish outside every day. Anyway, yeah, there's nothing you can do for the fish other than put them in. You could get him and buy him a nice coat and a nice fur coat to put on, or of course we get him a non-fur, a fake fur. But there's nothing that will make him happy until he's back in the water with his friends. And there's nothing in this world will make us happy. Because Krishna says, from the highest planet to the lowest planet are all what, Malati?
All places of death. Everyone has to die. In which? Oh, the Brahma Bhuvana Loka, right? That verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherein what takes place? Repeated birth and death.
And deaths.
So neither are good. Repeated birth and death, and 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 birth and death. So, if any of you know anybody who's having a child, a baby, expecting, don't send me, because I could trash that party. But we're supposed to see this way. We see this way. Now, Prabhupada, Prabhupada was a gentleman, and he liked children. But at the same time, it doesn't mean he's acting appropriately. Oh, what a cute little baby, he'll give him a little cookie or something. And Prabhupada would appreciate that. But at the same time, we have more than one angle of vision. Yes, it is a cute little baby. And I could see that way. Actually, I don't think babies are cute. They're kind of, I think women can see them being cute, but anyway, they look, the skin's all weird and they look like a little.
When they come out, they're like that. But
Yeah.
once you get them out, they fill out and they're better.
Yeah, but they start out pretty ugly. Anyway, so we see from many angles of vision, but the most important angle of vision where we see is that this isn't. It's in the Bhagavatam. It talks about the andakupam. Other than Malati, who can tell me what andakupam means? Maybe Lakshman's got it. Malati?
Blind well.
Blind well. People that get married and they have children, and so it's like going into a dark well. You're just so blinded by the child and the obligations, and it's not even really your baby. It's just another soul, and the person that you're meeting, the whole person doesn't really. They're having this they're just playing a role of this personality and that personality and another kind of personality, but it has nothing to do with who they really are. And so much obligation and expense and this, that. Anyway, it's like a dark well from the Bhagavatam perspective. Now, of course, if we're having children, God-conscious children, but even that, we don't see that in Kali Yuga doing so well either. And we've given an example before. Look at Prabhupada. Prabhupada's children didn't turn out to be nice people.
Wow.
There may have been one that was not so bad, or Malti. I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah, no, Gurudev. I was thinking. Then why should devotees have children then? Why don't we just pray to the Lord and and everybody go home back to God? So how's that? I don't understand.
Because it's if you're going to get married, then it's especially women, they have a natural inclination to want to have a child, and they're kind of miserable if they don't go through that, and they'll become purified by it. They'll have a child, and they've been there, done that, and they're ready to, when it's all over and the kid turned out to be a brat anyway, or they're nice people, but they're not really interested in Krishna, And I can tell you, my friends, very dear friends that have had children, it's out of their system. If they were to somehow come back again, they would stay out of that well, because it's so much work to raise a child, and boy does.
But then they get to be your good friends when they get older.
That could be, but if they're not telling you about Krishna, and if they don't want to talk about Krishna, yes, they're your friend, but it's not ultimately it's not going to satisfy your soul. I understand that being your friend, there's something to be said about that, but it really how is it helping you spiritually?
There's love, and if God is love, Krishna is love.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Because I've experienced, love, particularly with my mother, and when I realized that this love, as sweet as it was, is just a reflection of real love, of spiritual love. Spiritual love is infinitely, infinitely, infinitely more intense. Mm. It's kind of like looking at a picture of Hawaii. You're seeing Hawaii, but you're not there. You have some idea what it must look, what it's like, but only when you get here and the wind, the wind is blowing and you're sailing through the ocean and the palms are swaying. And it's kind of like if you haven't eaten and somebody shows you a picture of a nice meal, a restaurant and all this food, but you don't really get to eat. It's not. It isn't what Krishna Prema is all about, where your body just goes crazy and in symptoms of ecstasy. Oh my God! Look, we're more than halfway through, and we're
Oh dear.
just chit-chatting here about stirring the nectar of Krishna Katha. So let's look at some of the questions we have. Well, the first person that had a question was Malati. I'm sorry, it was Francia. And the meaning of life is to enjoy. I have moments of enjoyment, but I mostly feel tired and struggle with daily chores. If I could live at a hotel or a monastery and have someone else shop at Costco and cook for me, go to Michael's doctor's appointments, get my car serviced, I know I would enjoy life more. Is the spiritual platform of life where you enjoy life really realistic for living in the world? Knowing and loving Krishna is making life easier, but not totally enjoyable yet. Any suggestions? Well, the enjoyment in this world, by the way, in the Vedanta Sutra, one of the aphorisms is Anandamayo Vyasat. That means that the nature of the soul is to enjoy. It's just the nature of it. We want to enjoy. And that soul finds that enjoyment in divine love of God. In this relationship with Krishna, its relationship with God. And anything short of that is not really enjoyment. Again, just like if you're hungry, you can go to the movies and maybe you forget about the hunger temporarily. You can go here, there, you do all kinds of, go to a party, go to swimming, go surfing, but you're hungry. You're never really satisfied. The only real enjoyment is love of God. We have things in this world that seem like enjoyment, but it's mostly the senses. The senses and the mind. It's artificial enjoyment. Even, I guess, the greatest physical pleasure, and this is talked about in the Bhagavatam, and is a pleasure of sex, physical wise, through these senses. It's described as a heavenly pleasure, and the Bhagavatam talks about how the genitals have a coating of this great pleasure that one can experience, but it's not real enjoyment. It's, even though as intense as that may be, or as pleasurable as that may be, it isn't real. The real, once we taste love of Krishna, well, yes, this is it. Now I see. Now I got it. Now I got it. But Krishna gives us, thankfully, little tastes along the way, even though we're not qualified yet to where that love is going to completely reawaken. But Krishna gives us little drops here and there of what real like, for example, being in this Sangha. This is real, for me, this is real pleasure. This is unlike any other thing in the material world. I feel Prabhupada just running through me. And honest to God, my deities, well, Rasika Bajari can tell you about this. My deities, I've just fallen in love with my deities. It's just, I never thought I even had that in me. I thought Bajari work is for, somebody else. I do other service for Krishna. But my God, it's so, they're not talking to me yet. They're not like, jumping up to greet me when I get out of bed in the morning, but they're definitely giving me some spiritual taste that it's real. That's right, Lakshman and Kalki now, they're on the altars, or you can start to taste. Again, being here in this sangha, to me, this is the real pleasure. And it's the beginning. It's just the beginning. But it's so different than any other material pleasure. It's so satisfying. Okay.
Gurudev, is that beginning taste ruchi? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
ruchi means when you're actually getting a taste.
But can the taste be a distraction?
No, the taste is real. It's not a distraction. It's the real deal, and we know it. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam, that Krishna says right in the Bhagavad Gita that when we engage in devotional service, we start to feel, we can realize it's not like just having faith. We're actually getting a taste, and we know it's real.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have left here, believe me, I'd have left, I'm a cynic. I was very cynical about the devotees and chanting and yeah. I'll give it a try, but I met some devotees that were like really smart people. And my one mentor, Avirama, I look back, he was only 20 years old, been a devotee for 3 years, but he was like somebody from another planet. And because of his association, I very well, I still didn't think it's going to work. It worked for him. It's not going to work for me. But I gave it a shot, and it never stopped getting better. So it's real, it's realized. Pratyaksha and avagamam, by direct perception and realization. You can talk all day about a mango, what's going to taste like. What could it taste like? But when you bite into that mango, even you take a little bite, you know by your own perception, wow, this is good. This is amazing fruit. Okay.
Can I just say, I'm confused. When I'm feeling like I'm doing devotional service with my children, my girls, it's that takes me to a different place. I feel this love that is deeper than anything. But if I'm in a relationship with somebody that, but I like them and they're giving back to me and it's back and forth, it feels good, but I can't call that the same thing as when I'm really, in tune with my daughters and giving them what I think they need or doing what God wants me to do.
Prabhupada said the relationship between a child and their mother is the clearest reflection of love of Krishna. It's the closest. It's not spiritual, but it's wonderful. I know the love for my mom, and I know my mother loved me more than I can love her. It's just something about a woman that she can. I know I could never love my mother as much as she loved me, and I love her so much. But it's just part of what's built in. It's the greatest pleasure for a mother to take care of their children. When my father passed away, I remember we were coming home in a Hertz. What's it called? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's the term? I haven't heard that in years. The limousine. My mother, she called out. She said, first of all, she said, "Goodbye, darling," to my father that we just buried. And then as we were coming home, she said, I can bear the loss of a spouse, but I could never bear the loss of a child. That always stuck with me.
Yeah.
I can bear the loss of a spouse, but I could never, it's just, it's the closest thing. And it's very, 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 very powerful. Because I know how powerful my love is for my mother, and I know she's experiencing something greater than me.
Okay.
So it's a special thing built into women. And you see it in the other species. The mother, she'll do anything to take care of her child. I was watching YouTube. This the mother eagle, there was a snake that came up to the snake was getting ready to eat her babies. And the mother eagle went crazy. She grabbed her talons and lifted that snake out of the nest, and she just took it in flight. And anyway, I've even heard crocodiles, to some degree, the mothers in the very beginning, they watch their children. So, yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
so let's move on. And Rasika had a question. He's saying, how do we understand when it is often said that a Vaishnava does not have any enemies? The enemy is not even born. Anybody know the Sanskrit for that? It's called ajata-shatru. Ajata-shatru. That means someone's enemy is ajata. That means unborn. That they're never born. So a Vaishnava, his enemy, it said that his enemy is never born. Krishna had enemies, so I don't know how to apply this practically, because my enemy is born and doing very well, Gurudev, your servant, Rasika Pujari Das. So it doesn't mean that we're not somebody's enemy. Put that for starters. I had some people that really did me dirty in ISKCON, and one in particular, well, it's all of them. There's a side of me that can hate them, but I've thrown that away, and I come to very, very deeply came to the realization that it's all Krishna's arrangement. Krishna, I don't want to shoot the messenger. Krishna could have had everything in ISKCON very smooth and perfect for me, but he didn't. And I don't see any of them as my enemies. They may see me as an enemy, and they feel, "Wow, we got rid of Narahari. We got him out of here." And so I can take more than one angle of vision. One angle of vision, they did me dirty, but that really isn't very satisfying. What is satisfying is to realize that Krishna arranged this. So we don't have enemies, because we know that not a blade of grass is moving without Krishna's will. That doesn't mean if somebody's trying to do us dirty that we don't try to rectify the situation. But if it can't be rectified, we just have to take it as Krishna's plan. Can you tell us about your one enemy, or is that something private?
No, Gurudev, it was just a thought that I had. I may be someone's enemy. Someone may be my enemy as well, but it was just a thought that I had to how to have that spiritual vision where we're not envious of someone, or we're not lusty, or you know, that we're trying to not be someone's enemy, and we're not trying to be the enemy. That I was thinking.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, you're going to have. I think being in this world, you can't not have some enemies. I mean, it's got to, you got to be pretty smooth to not have some enemies. It's just because everyone's envious in this world. They're like snakes. I was watching that snake. It was fighting with the eagle. They're everybody's out for themselves in the material world. They're out for number one. And if they can use you and it works out, you know, that you scratch their back and they'll scratch yours, fine. But you stop scratching their back, they're not going to keep scratching yours. A mother's not like that, by the way. Child can be horrible. Mommy still loves them. I think you've heard me talk about when I heard the mother of Jeffrey Dahmer. You remember Jeffrey Dahmer? How many people know who he is?
I think he did. Yeah, he said they. Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer. He was a boy who would invite men. He was gay. He would invite men over to his house. He'd meet them in the bar and slip them something in a drink that killed them. And then he would eat their bodies. He would cut the body up and keep it in the freezer and then eat, certain different parts of the body. So when he was on a talk show, I believe it was Larry King. Not many people probably even know who Larry King is other than Francia, right? Oh, did you ever see that?
Oh, I didn't see that show.
No,
No.
not that one, but Larry King.
Yeah, but you've seen Larry King.
Yeah.
So I
Yes,
think it was Dr. King. I can't remember. But anyway, they had the mother on, and the host asked the mother, different questions, and the mother said, "But I still love him very much. That's a mommy." So I don't know how I came up what I was talking about to bring up Jeffrey Dahmer. Can anybody help me out? What was I talking about?
Loving your enemies?
That even the mother doesn't see the son as an enemy.
Yeah, the mother's love is unconditional. And I think only a mother can understand that. And Prabhupada said it is the closest, the best reflection, like the best painting of Hawaii. It's the best, wow, it's like the super painting where you can really see Hawaii. You can almost step into it, but not really. But you can get an idea, the best idea of what it's like. The perfect painting. So it gives us an idea of what real spiritual love is like. So we can call it love. We'll call what we experience in the material world as love, but what we experience in the spiritual is called Prema. And that's the eternal real love. That's unlimited. Okay, I think those were the two questions that we had. And let's hear now from Lakshman Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Gurudev. Is it reasonable philosophical speculation to believe that the Vishnu Dutas escorted great saintly persons of any other tradition? We're in the Bhagavatam class in the morning. We're in Canto 6. And so this reflection came, or this question came from that.
This is the reading about a Jamil?
Yeah, yes. So great saintly persons, if the Vishnu Dutas escorted great saintly persons of any other tradition home back to Godhead, would the Vishnu Dutas come, and would Jesus would have been would the Vishnu Dutas come with for Jesus, basically, is the question.
I can't answer that. I can only philosophically speculate. I don't, I haven't heard, Prabhupada's never discussed it anywhere. It will certainly seem that it would be that way, that the Vishnu Dutas, because Jesus he's the real deal, and all of the acharyas in our line, except Jesus is real. He's the real deal. He was a empowered Shakti Vaishnava, he's empowered by Krishna. So those followers of Jesus, when he takes them to where they're ready to go back, it would certainly seem like that, but I can't say for sure. Maybe Jesus takes them back. I don't know. So I just can't make something up. That's the best I can do on that. If I haven't heard, I can't say.
Thank you, Gurudev. I have one more. This is more of a comment that I didn't know about from this week. If I can slip one more.
Sure, go ahead.
So I was looking at a slides when they were presenting this week, and one of the devotees that was talking, she mentioned, and I didn't know this, that the next form of life, or when the cow as a human is the next form of life, and that I have heard. But what I have not heard was that the monkey and the tiger and the lion, they're also next form of life. So those three animals, I guess, are unique.
I've heard it said, that they take birth as the cow in the mode of goodness, the monkey in the mode of passion, and the tiger in the mode of ignorance. Because the tiger eats flesh, the monkey they're really lusty. They're jumping from tree to tree to tree. They're very lusty. And the cow is in the mode of goodness. So but it's still material. And I was just reading, in fact, I could find it, where I was just reading like yesterday, where it says that if the mind is influenced I should try to find it. It's saying that if the mind is influenced by any of the modes of nature, even the mode of goodness, that it's uncontrolled. It'll be uncontrolled. Give me a minute to look to find that, because I don't want to be inaccurate. I did jot it down. Oh my God, a lot of hits on this. Let me go way here to this end. Here we go. This is in this story of Jada Bharat, when he was speaking to King Rahugana. And this is an exact quote. As long as the mind of a living entity is contaminated by the three modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, his mind is exactly like an independent, uncontrolled elephant. Yeah. So, and you're never going to find someone in pure goodness anyway. They're always competing. Sometimes the mode of good, primarily the mode of goodness, and then gradually you get dragged down. The other ones are competing. Wait a minute, come on, let's come this way. And you're kind of back and forth. And uncontrolled, independent elephant. And they can be very destructive, elephants. Parampara Prabhu, do you have a question?
Gurudev, I have a question, Gurudev, on your on one of the things, Gurudev, that you just commented before. So, Gurudev, like in the spiritual world, everything is expanding, and also like just like we say when you say Krishna, Krishna is physically present as well in his name. And when you say Vrindavan, Vrindavan is also present because and even the holy rivers, if we want to invoke, we can invoke their name and then also turn the water from any pond or any, body.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Now,
No,
Gurudev.
no, and you're frozen. Why don't you turn your video off? Turn off the video and try just speaking. I don't think you have enough bandwidth.
Yeah, maybe Gurudev, because I'm on driving. Can you hear
Okay.
me now, Gurudev?
Now we can hear you. Yeah. Just keep the video off.
Yes, Gurudev. So Gurudev, like sometimes I feel like my connection with Hawaii is just that because any importance that Hawaii has for me is that you are present there. That's all. I'm not attracted to any river, any ocean, any water. Even if I have to go, like if you are not there, every time I go, I don't want to spend a single dollar just to come to Hawaii. If you are not there, if you are not there, and clearly that's my thing. But since you are there, it has been the place I want to come to. So sometimes I feel like even the material world, like even Hawaii, I think if we spiritualize the basic understanding of Hawaii and how we are connected to Hawaii, not from material plane, but from spiritual plane, I think we can, I feel like it also expands. Like sometimes when I'm driving and it starts getting rain, I sometimes feel like, you have been driving and then we were in the car, in the truck and traveling. So I sometimes experience that I'm in Hawaii driving here in this in DMB area. I feel that. And sometimes like even when I was there, when the sky turns very dark and cloudy, sometimes I used to experience that when I was in Hawaii. And it reminds me of how at the time I was thinking of Nitai Gaura and Pancha Tattva and so that is what I feel, Gurudev. Like so my question was like, I think does material world like just like the spiritual world is infinite, but if we spiritualize material connections, do they also expand?
I'm trying to think how to answer that. Do they expand? Well, I'm not sure how to answer it. That's an unusual question. I can certainly say that, like my deities, everything about them is expanding every day. It's getting sweeter and sweeter, and Hawaii has been good to me in that it's really good for my spiritual life, where I can get up early in the morning. It's not cold, and I can go for a walk for all 12 months of the year. I can go out in my boat and exercise, go kayaking. It's really good for my body. And it's been really good for my spiritual life. And I just feel like I never really want to leave Hawaii. It's been wonderful to me. Hawaii is also where you started your spiritual life. It's where you in earnest, where you really came and found your guru and started serving Panchatattva, even just setting up the chairs. I kind of tricked you into saying, well, who can help with the chairs? And he'd set up the chairs for every Sunday for our for our talks that the sanghas we would have. So I kind of like Hawaii more and more all the time. Doesn't mean if for some reason I had to leave, I'd be okay. But I certainly, it's been so good here for my spiritual life that I feel more connected to it. And I feel it's transitioning me to the spiritual world. It's become spiritualized for me. When I go out on the ocean, I'm chanting verses or trying to remember verses, or I'm chanting. Like say I just learned a new verse and I'll just say it over and over again while I'm in the boat. Anyway, I'm not sure exactly if I'm answering your question or not. There's just some thoughts that come to my mind.
And Gurudev, one more question, Gurudev. Like, sometimes, like, I feel like, first when I came to this place in Virginia, I told Padmalochan that I cannot stay in this place. It's just too crowded, and the traffic was so bad. I was driving. I felt like, oh, I'm gonna find a way that I will just get out of this place a year or something. And after staying some time, I got used to this place, and it was so cold. And then also the early days was so cold. We were putting the AC, the heating system like 83, 85 degree, like
Yeah,
because I just was in Hawaii, then I moved to California, which is hot, and then I moved to Arizona, which is super hot. So when I came to Virginia during the cold season, 85 was the normal thing for me and for Panmalochan, to the point that we used to bleed from nose because it just got so dry. um, so so we were so scared. We were like, we're gonna leave this place. But now slowly getting used to it, I feel like it has been helpful to me. Like when I see like the seasons change, that I
yeah,
can see the trees green. The next day is orange, and the third day is falls down, and then there is snow. That is, and there is that way. It tells me that there is so much suffering, and if I get used to few months, like if I get used to this green trees here, within 3 months it's gonna go away. It's gonna be
right.
turned into orange. So I think that realization for me works because I for me personally, because if I yeah I think maybe my personality is little bit austere. I don't know, but I think that helps in my realization. Like just at least it lets me know that nothing is permanent here, and anything can happen anytime. That it is giving me that realizations. That's why I used to hate snow, but now I'm like, I have to deal with it somehow. Stay inside or don't travel when it's snowing, and then again after a few months it's gonna go away. So just deal with it. That feeling has come on me. So I feel like every 3 months season changes here. So I'm experiencing all of that. So that's I think that is helping me now. Previously I didn't want to stay here, but I'm like, now I think it is being okay. When even it's like snowing, I'm like, okay, I can understand that material world is not gonna get better, and I shouldn't be expecting it like not to snow. And some year it does not snow. Last 2 years it didn't snow, and this year it snowed so badly. So
Oh my
badly
God.
that we were covered with snow all the time.
Yeah, we can
So
adjust. I mean, we can
yeah.
adjust to anything. If I had to go there, and I'd make it work. Because just don't ever take Krishna away from me. You know, don't ever take my
Mm.
my japa beats away. As long as I got my japa beats, I'll be fine anywhere. Especially at my age, because how long we're going to live anyway? It's if Krishna puts me somewhere, I will accept. Krishna, this is where you want me. Okay. Um, fine. And also, you have a very nice temple near you. You go to the temple every Sunday,
Yes,
yeah?
Gurudev. I think yes, Gurudev. That is binding me. I think, Gurudev, like to the to the temple. So devotees, like the engagement here, and then every Sunday we serve, and I also lead the kitchen team with the Sunday service. Like prasad distribution. We do more than, in minimum days, we do like 500 plates. And like in the big event is a
minimum
lot.
days.
Minimum 100 these days. And then we have like a lot of programs in the temple, residential programs. So somehow, like at least Sunday, I'm being able to utilize my time here. And also on Fridays, we do the house program. We have like group of devotees near our house, and all Friday evening we do house program. Every other Saturday we have started like a new center. A devotee have started that, and we are helping him. So I think that is giving me some service also. So I see a purpose to like to even take this all this bad weather, and I'm like, okay, I have something here. If I, what else will I go? And then I went to and Padmalochan, and I went for like with your advice, with your permission, Gurudev. We went to Montana, and then for a few days it was feeling nice, but then I feel like it was just repeating itself, like the water, the weather. And at first, like, and I think that realization hit Padmalochan also, that at first when we landed there, the very Airbnb was like, so nice that we didn't want to go out. We were like this, we'll just stay here just watching our residential area. And after traveling for a couple of days, we found, oh, that was nothing. And then the mountains we are seeing, the lake we are seeing, it's so beautiful. And after a few days, we didn't even want to go. We like, it's already capped now. There's nothing else. And somebody else, one of our friends said, let's go here. We're like, we're done with that. We have seen that already, and it's just like 5 days. We are already
Yeah.
capped with that beauty. Like there's what else more? So I think like yeah, that's what I felt like. At least I have my, like, I think different people have different challenges that we deal with that, because we have different karmic conditioning. So
Correct.
my, I think this karmic conditioning, yeah, that I think that's what I realized, that like if I'm chanting and then traveling, even while traveling, if I'm chanting or doing some listening some lecture, then I think it will make me like more contained than just trying to watch the mountains and see the water and get it engaged. Then I don't know, I get somehow restless, or I get more agitated. I don't know what happens. So I couldn't enjoy like just seeing that. I can't find what's there, because it doesn't remind me of Krishna. And then I'm trying to force Krishna to see it in there, but it doesn't remind. I mean, different people have different realizations. So for me, yeah, I couldn't focus that way. But Padmalochan and other devotees, they were fine.
Malati ran out.
Yeah. I think we lost.
And we lost.
Yeah, we lost them.
All right. Well, when we end here, that was very interesting. So thank you all so much. Ram Das Abhiram, I see that you have your hand up. So why don't you just hang on? I'm going to end the session, and then just stay here, and then you and I can talk. And but it's time to end for everyone else. Malati's back. Is everything okay, Malati? Can't hear you.
Oh, Richard just came home, so I had to go unlock the door for him because the door
Oh,
was
okay,
locked.
got it. All
So
right,
I
well,
had
we're
to
going to
run.
end here. Thank you, dear, so much for being here today, and
Thank you,
we'll
Gurudev.
see you back in, I guess, Bhagavatam class till tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, see you in class tomorrow.
Thank you,
Okay,
Gurudev. Hare
I'm
Krishna.
gonna end the session, and
Okay,
but hang on, Ram Das said Ram,
okay.
and.
Hare Krishna.